Let's take you to a live event. As I said, the EFF leader, Julius Malema, is out in Secunda at the Lillian Ngoyi Center, where he's delivering a speech.
Even when she was vilified, this woman taught us that revolution without women is no revolution at all. Fighters, it is also very symbolic that today on this important occasion, we gather here in Secunda, Mpumalanga, at the Lillian Ngoyi Center, a center named after one of the most fearless and visionary women leaders our country has ever known. Lillian Ngoyi was a tireless fighter for the rights of women and workers. She stood before a crowd of thousands on this day in 1956 and asked, "Must we now carry passes like slaves? Must we be treated like criminals in our own land?" That was not just a question. It was a declaration of war against injustice. It is therefore a great honor that we commemorate Women's Day in a space that bears her name and spirit. Secunda, the very town we stand in today, has its own important place in the political and economic history of South Africa, like the Deputy President said. Established in the 1970s as a central site for the operations of Sasol, the apartheid regime state-owned energy giant, Secunda was a symbol of the regime's economic power and its ruthless exploitation of black labor. The coal mines, petrochemical plants, and factories of this area were built on the backs of black workers who were denied proper housing, education, healthcare, and dignity. Secunda was not only a site of economic production, it was a site of oppression. Like so many industrial zones under apartheid, it created zones of suffering for black people, especially black women who were forced into informal settlements, into insecure jobs, into raising families under conditions of structural poverty. Yet, the rest of South Africa, 30 years into democracy, Mpumalanga continues to face deep challenges for women. This is a province rich in minerals and energy, yet the women who live here still struggle to find safe, decent housing, clean water, access to health care, and jobs that pay a living wage. People in Secunda suffer from health issues caused by the mines and extractive industries because mining and industry here is not done responsibly, and there's been no care at all to take care of the communities in this area. Children are born sick due to pollution, and parents are sick either from the mines and industry of the polluted air and water due to corporate neglect. When these companies get these concessions to mine and withdraw from our land, they are expected to ensure corporate social responsibility, to still care for the land, extract responsibly, and build our communities. However, they refuse to do so, and our government does not even care to hold them responsible because they do not mind getting money in bribes or simply not caring about the people of this land. As long as they live well in their own conditioned houses and cars, while disease of lungs and kidney ravage those who have to live with mine, dams, and polluted air. The clinics are underfunded, the schools are overcrowded, and women still walk long distance for water and firewood, while corporate like Sasol and Glencore extract billions from the soil beneath their feet. This is a province built around fuel and chemicals, but where many women still cook with paraffin. A place rich in energy, but where women struggle for electricity in their home. Mpumalanga is a land where multinational companies mine coal, platinum, chrome, and manganese, but the communities remain trapped in poverty, service delivery failures, and environmental destruction. Women in Mpumalanga still walk kilometers to fetch water, while companies like Sasol drain millions of liters from industrial processes. Women in Nkomazi, in Bushbuckridge and Tekwani still give birth in overcrowded clinics with too few nurses and little medication. The collapse of health infrastructure in places like Shongwe Hospital and Mpumalanga Hospital has a gendered impact, as it is women who wait in queues for hours, who care for the sick, who die in maternity wards due to neglect and lack of resources. Women in Mpumalanga, Carolina and Delmas breathe toxic air and drink unsafe water, while the children they raise suffer from diseases and developmental challenges. Yet still, the government protects mining profits over human lives. These are not accidents of nature. They are policy choices, and they are killing our people. When we say that the struggle continues, we are talking about women who are still unemployed in a province where most jobs go to the politically connected. Women who have post-matric qualification but remain at home. Women whose businesses are overlooked in government procurement because they do not sleep with politicians. We are talking about farm workers who are underpaid, overworked, and sexually harassed with no protection from labor inspectors or unions. In this province, where the farming economy dominates, women bodies continue to be used as tools of oppression. This is why the EFF says women's liberation cannot wait. We cannot wait for the parliamentary commission. We cannot wait for empty promises during the State of the Nation address speeches. We must organize. We must agitate. We must build a state that protects and empowers women, especially poor black women. Since our formation in 2013, the EFF has placed women at the center of our struggle. We fought for the insourcing of cleaners and security guards at universities and in some municipalities, including Johannesburg, and most of those insourced workers are women. As the EFF, we demand the following: that all clinics in rural Mpumalanga be upgraded and properly staffed, that municipality creates safe public spaces for women and children, parks, community halls, safe transport and lighting, that all mining companies operating in Mpumalanga be audited for their compliance with gender equality in employment, procurement, and social investment. Before they declare profit, they must show that their presence here is beneficial to the communities here, not to steal from our soil and also expect our government to take care of the results of their own recklessness. That all provincial departments report annually on women representation in leadership, in management, and the staff complements, and the budget share spent on gender-specific programs. We say to the women of Mpumalanga, the EFF sees you, the EFF hears you, the EFF fights for you. We also say to the men of this province, this is not a women's struggle, it is your struggle too. Your freedom is incomplete if the women around you live in fear, poverty, and silence. As we remember the women who stood up on this day in 1956, let us also take a moment to reflect on the long and painful history of South Africa's domestic workers, the majority of whom are black women. The most exploited women in our society are domestic workers. These women get beaten, these women get harassed, these women get raped in silence because they cannot talk. They are scared that the day they talk, they are going to leave their jobs. And it is this job that is standing between them and poverty. If they lose this job, they run a risk of not getting any other jobs. We say to the domestic workers, under the EFF government, there will never be such experience, because we'll audit each and every house to ensure that the rights of women are respected. Comrades, we must make sure that women who work as petrol attendants, women who work in the farms are protected, and they raise their children under safe environment. We cannot allow a situation where our children continue to be victims of poverty, and as a result, they surrender themselves to nyaupe and alcohol. It is not our choice that our people are drowning in alcohol. It is because poverty has forced our people into drugs and alcohol. You want to fight drugs, you want to fight alcohol, you have to create jobs, you have to open the doors of learning and teaching for all of our people. Comrades, we want you to be the owners of the farms in Mpumalanga. Mpumalanga is very rich with agriculture. Mpumalanga is very rich with mining, but women are only involved as laborers. That must come to an end. We want the ownership of farming and mining in Mpumalanga to be owned by the women of this province, to be owned by the young women of this province. This province cannot be a province of victims. It must be a province of people who own the economy of their own country. The strategic means of our economy should be nationalized and benefit the children and the black oppressed women. Comrades, we must make sure that we protect our women in every space we occupy. Women get raped at church, women get raped at school, women get raped at workplaces, get raped at social places, and they do not rape themselves. They are raped by men. Men have to stand up, and by standing up, you don't have to do anything. Just stop raping women. Rape will stop in South Africa. We don't want men who are cowards, who are scared of people their age, who are scared people of their same gender, and they go and exercise their power over the powerless women. No man should lay a hand on a woman. We must protect them, we must respect them, we must provide for them. And any man who doesn't give women money is an irresponsible man. Women have to receive money. Especially black women. Why should black women receive money? They were oppressed 3 times more than us as men. And therefore, for triple oppression, we have a duty to compensate them. Because they've gone through pain, they still go through pain. They go through pain because they are black. They go through pain because they are women. They go through pain because they are working class. When you see a black woman, you must know this woman is carrying huge burdens on her shoulder, and give her the necessary support. Comrades, we cannot continue to have a situation where the women who are unemployed are more than men. In South Africa, women are more unemployed than men. We have to change those patterns. Why? Because when you give women jobs, when you give women opportunities, you are guaranteed that they will take care of the poor and the children in our townships and rural areas. But when you give men, some of them are using these resources in an irresponsible way. At the center of defeating poverty should be women empowerment.
All right, so that's Julius Malema, the leader of the EFF. He's speaking there at the Lillian Ngoyi Center out in Secunda in Mpumalanga, just delivering a strong message about women empowerment. And towards the end there, I believe and I suspect and I can predict that this will cause quite a great deal of conversation, and saying that any man who doesn't give women money is being irresponsible. In a way, I think he's making reference to a debate that occurs, especially on social media circles, but actually giving it quite a serious, slant to it all, talking about we have a duty to compensate women, according to Julius Malema, because they've suffered triple oppression, being oppressed because they are black, because they are women, and also because they are that combination of black women, all in its totality, leading to significantly higher levels of disadvantage over the last while. In fact, historically, is the message that came through from Julius Malema there. But among some of what he had to say, and which I thought was quite powerful, was when he was saying a message to men. Your freedom is incomplete if women around you live in fear, poverty, and silence, and saying that men must stand up. And he says, by standing up, you don't really need to do anything. For instance, as far as rape goes, he says, stand up, and by that I mean just stop raping women, and rape will stop in South Africa. So that's the leader there of the EFF. And earlier on, you heard him alluding to the wealth, mineral wealth, as well as the energy production that happens in Mpumalanga, and how it continues to disadvantage communities, especially women, juxtaposing the wealth of the province against the poverty and poverty levels and energy poverty that you continue to see there.